Hi there, my name is Kimberly Inez Mays, and I have a question to ask you. Are you sick of AI generated content? And the reason why I'm asking you this is because celebrities are now getting in trouble for using AI generated content. And sometimes I feel like I make redundant content about the AI backlash, but it keeps happening. So I'm going to keep talking about it because it's relevant to you and your business. But before I get into that, I just want to introduce myself or reintroduce myself. My name is Kimberly Inez Mays. I demystify technology for small service based businesses so that they can stop duct taping their systems together and scale with confidence. And I do so through marketing automation and AI. I'm going to be joined momentarily by my black cat. So you might see him in the video, but nonetheless, we're going to roll with it, right? Because that's what we do. And before I get into it, I encourage you to like and share because sharing is caring. So if this is a topic that you care about, definitely let another person know. Hey, Kenzo. So this is my little black kitty, Kenzo. And we're going to talk about the AI content backlash. Ooh. So recently, as of this recording, Taylor Swift, one of the biggest pop star in the world, one of the biggest ones, she got into a little bit of hot water for using AI during one of her promos. Oh no, Swifties against AI. Oh my goodness, that is a real hashtag right now. So on YouTube, I don't know if it's still up, but there was a video showing some footage of a bar scene, a nightclub. She has this Life of a Showgirl album that's out. I'm not a Swiftie, forgive me, or don't forgive me, but I'm not a Swiftie. I don't hate the girl either, but she has this Showgirl album. So she had some promo footage that she shared, or her team shared, that was AI generated. And eagle eye people spotted the uncanniness because the bartender's hand went into the napkin, and it's becoming more difficult to spot AI videos, but it's not impossible. So when that happened, oh boy, people got really upset. And that's what I want to talk about because even if you're not a celebrity, huge pop star, or a huge brand, your audience may not love the fact that you use AI for your content. And I'm not saying don't use AI for your content. So before you click this off, please hear me out. Definitely use AI for your content, but there are specific ways that I, Kimberly Inez Mays, recommend that you do so because there is a visceral backlash to things that are AI. And I'm going to just spoil the end of the video. And the point that I'm trying to make is that the backlash is not due to AI, it's due to the deception that the brand is creating when using AI generated content. So in the case of Taylor Swift, people expect somebody with that amount of money, resources to actually be able to shoot their own footage, right? People don't like feeling tricked. People don't like feeling deceived. And there's a way to use AI generated content that does not deceive people. There's a way to disclose that the content that you're looking at is AI generated without it feeling icky. People will consume things that are generated with AI with that knowledge that that is AI, and there's just certain parameters around it. So let's just talk about it. So in October, fans alleged that short promo clips tied to a scavenger hunt for Taylor Swift's album, The Life of a Showgirl, showed classic generative video artifacts like inconsistent shadows, warped objects, and jumbled text, prompting the Swifties against AI trend and the quiet removal of several videos without an explanation. All right, so the it's just it's just crazy because even just something as small as a couple of like promo videos created this backlash. And the backlash is nothing new, right? It's nothing against Taylor Swift. It's I've seen it everywhere. I've seen backlash against a music video that had some AI drawings in it. I've seen backlash against an intro done by Disney's what's that show, Secret Invasion, that they used AI in the intro of it. I've seen backlash against a Coca-Cola commercial last year. I think I had talked about that, where they AI generated the whole thing. And let's talk about the Will Smith thing too, where the audience was AI generated, right? They wanted to make the crowds look bigger than what it was. And I think what it comes down to it is the deception and the perception that if you have the resource to actually use videos of actual human beings, why aren't you doing that? And I feel that it's all going to come to a head where companies that use AI will need to disclose it. If they don't disclose it and are found out about it, I think the backlash is going to grow and grow. So what do you do as a business, right? Because I feel that herd mentality is very dangerous. Everybody's telling you, oh, if you don't use this tool, then you're missing out and you can save hours a week, doing this instead of this and making this and putting it on your videos or whatever. And yes, be that as it may, that will work, but I don't think that's a sustainable long-term strategy. So here's what I do think. I do think that disclosure is very important. There's a time and place for AI generated video, audio, and content, right? The best use case I could think of are explainer videos. Explainer videos are videos that educate, solve a problem. They have a specific purpose. And people really wouldn't mind explainer videos because explainer videos done with AI, even AI avatars, because at the end of the day, they're getting help for a specific problem that they have, or they're learning something through that content. And if the content creator discloses, like, yes, I'm using AI for this. This is not actually me, but this AI generated images or video or whatever, voiceover. I think that's just fine. Same thing for chatbots. Nobody expects nowadays for a human being to be behind the scenes on a website just chatting, right? No one expects that availability. So people know that they're talking to a bot and they're okay with it. They're okay with it as long as they get their questions answered. They're cool with it. But what I think is when there is an opportunity to utilize human talent and resource, and that opportunity is not taken, I think that is where people are like, hold up, wait a minute. As rich as these people are, why are they going this route? Why would they put up this inferior product where you can clearly see hands going into objects, you can see shadows missing, you can see warped faces? Why, right? And I did another video about the AI FOMO, where companies, large businesses, small businesses, and in between feel that they need to jump on certain technologies because their competitors are using it, right? So if you don't use it, then, oh my gosh, your competitors will, and you'll be put out of existence in a minute. And I think that, yes, there's a way to keep up smartly as long as it is in alignment with your strategy. But what was I trying to say? But I just think that it has gone way too far, and we're going to see the backlash. So I'm just looking at some of my notes. So the ethical concerns around AI and entertainment are this: content and likeness. So digitally cloning a performer's face or voice without explicit informed consent violates autonomy. And we see this with Sora too. Right now, we have so much AI slop when it comes to deceased celebrities. I know I put a funny little video out there the other day, just kind of saying I don't really see a business use case for it, but there are business use cases for it, but there are opportunities for misuse of it as well. And I do think that there comes a point where we need to take a step back and say, is this helping or hurting, right? Is this useful for business, or is this just creating things that will eventually just cause distractions and muffle out the real work of real artists? And I think that is where a lot of the backlash comes from. Deep fakes and deception. So, like I said before, people don't like to be tricked. So it's okay to use AI bits and pieces in your content, but just pay attention, read the room. If you're getting a lot of backlash, if people aren't liking, aren't feeling it, there's nothing wrong with taking a step back and not using it, or just using it for specific purposes like I have given. So synthetic videos and audio enable personation, false endorsement, narrative manipulation, eroding trust in documentary, news adjacent, and marketing content unless clearly labeled and verified. So I'll give you another example. I was scrolling on X the other day, and yes, I have a burner account for X. I'm not using my real name, but I was scrolling and I saw like a news clip that I knew was AI because you could just tell, right? But the scary part was reading the comments underneath and people thinking that that was real when it wasn't. And we're going to see more of that. So that's why even something so small as the promotional little piece that she put out, which I think was only 30 seconds of content, maybe 45, I don't even know. But that's why there was so much backlash to it because people don't like feeling tricked, even though there was really no deception. I think it was an innocent little video. I didn't really see a problem with it, but people do because people don't like being tricked. Um, so labor credit and compensation. So like I said before, there's so much human talent out there. There are artists, writers, illustrators, videographers, photographers, and it could displace workers or shift bargaining powers unless contracts ensure attribution, residuals, payment for training usage, and synthetic reuse of performances. And so, if you know how models work, it does take the output, the intellectual property of other people, to then go and feed the machine that now outputs this content. And we've seen this in Sora or Sora 2, where they had to implement new guardrails and restrictions because people were using copyrighted IP to produce things that were indistinguishable from the original. And I do think that there are going to be more industry guardrails regarding the use of IP specifically, and there are going to be other businesses that emerge from this that are ethical AI users. And I want to go on a little bit of a tangent here, and I'm so sorry. I want to go on a tangent here because I just thought of something. Years ago, I was at a bank and they asked me if I wanted to invest in an ethical fund. And the ethical fund really was a collection of stocks that did not use like prison labor, for example, or they did not use like or they did not destroy the environment or certain companies that are certain ethos, right? So you know by investing in this fund that you're not violating certain principles or investing in companies that violate those principles. And I think that there are going to be AI tools that emerge from this backlash to say, hey, here is a video generator that uses videos from content creators that have given permission to use this content and will be fairly compensated and receive attribution for it. We see that now with Adobe products, and we see that now with a lot of like stock image collections where the photographers do get the credit from anything produced with AI using those photographs or that artwork, or even musicians too. We see that, and I think we're going to see more of it. And I encourage you to look those up and invest in those platforms that are using AI in that way. Because, again, if the models are trained on copyrighted films, music, images, they raise questions about unauthorized copying, derivative works, and fair use, right? I went on a little bit of a tangent here because this recording was about the AI backlash, but I do think the AI backlash is in response to a lot of the things that I had talked about: the copying, the deception, the lack of attribution, the lack of financial compensation, and the displacement of human beings. So I do think that there is a place for AI, the time and place for AI. So I don't think that it's the most exciting thing that I can talk about or the most exciting point of view that I have, but I do think it's very important. And I expect backlash. And feel free to disagree with me, like send me some messages or whatever if you disagree, if you feel differently. But don't be surprised, because this is not only with Taylor Swift, that's just an example. Will Smith is just an example. Coca-Cola is just an example. But we're going to see this all over the place. Wherever AI is identified and not disclosed, there is going to be a backlash. So what can you do, right? So obtain documentation and informed consent for anything that you have used AI for, or you have used in your marketing. So, for example, when I used to do websites and people would give me images, I would say, all right, where did you get this image from? oh, I just did a Google image search, or I just went to Google Images. I'm like, all right, well, you're not licensed to use this, and I cannot provide a service to you using this because it does not belong to you and you do not have the rights to it. And so getting rights to things is very, very easy. Of course, yes, you can use AI produced things in your marketing. I'm not saying you can't, and by no means am I a legal expert in this, so don't come for me. I'm just saying what I would do, right? So if you're going to just sorry, I got a funny text message on my phone. I got distraction. So if you're going to do that, just know that if that's going to be a main part of your marketing or main part of your branding, a main identifier for your business, definitely utilize human talent so you know that you own the rights to whatever you're putting out, or just seek those sources, like I said before, of AI tools that do provide attribution and financial compensation from the ones whose intellectual property have trained the model. And yep, I think that is all I got to say about that. So yeah, just be on the lookout for deep fakes, be on the lookout for different things that are not right, and speak out about them. Let's talk about it. Let's have the conversations. Let's not shy away from anything that's controversial or difficult to talk about, because I do think while I am excited about what's to come, all the technology, and yes, I am a heavy user of all things AI, I also recognize the real potential for harm and misuse. And I also want to talk about that and mitigate against that. So been chatting for like 17 minutes now. I'm a little tired. And I will say that is all I got to say about that. But before I go, if you're still hanging in with me, I want to give you an opportunity to take the AI and Systems Scorecard quiz. It's just a 5-question quiz. And when I talk about the 5 questions, it'll take you under 45 seconds to take this quiz. And it'll just show you where you are in your business as it pertains to AI and systems, and some gentle suggestions on strategies that you can implement so that you can automate your marketing, automate your operations, streamline your fulfillment, and use AI in a way that's going to serve you and not distract you. Okay? Ooh, I said a whole lot, didn't I? And my cat is resting on my lap. So I'm going to take this opportunity to get some work done and to enjoy the rest of my day. But I want you to enjoy the rest of yours and stay happy, and I'll see you later. Bye.